They're not. Oh, they're there.
Sorry about
All
that.
right, call to order the Estacada Traffic and Public Safety Committee. Can I have roll call, please? Brian?
Commissioner Owens,
Here.
Commissioner Moriarty,
Here.
Commissioner Dolezal,
Here.
Commissioner Dobbs,
Here.
Commissioner Parson, sorry.
Mike's there, right?
Yes, I'm here.
Uh, Commissioner Sedgberg,
Here.
Sedgberg, okay. And Commissioner Licky.
All right, good. We're all here. All right, moving on to community comments. Do we have anything? Okay, front row, Councilor Lidkey. Front and center, sir.
It looks so goofy right now.
Oh, I'm not very technical and all that. Hey, thanks you guys. I just wanted to, since this will be the last meeting that I get to attend, I want to thank everybody here, first of all, for your dedication to the city that you've had and as a counselor for the work and the information you were able to provide me when I was on the council. And technically, I guess it's still on for the 5th. But also, I just wanted to point out Brandy, and this is her last time here tonight. And so the amazing work she did, and my wonderful wife, and she's always been, with everything else she does at home, taking care of our daughter and our friends and running a nonprofit, and her biggest job, taking care of a 38-year-old giant man baby. Yes, that would be me. But then she still finds time to come in here and work and be on the committee here to put into the city in yet another way, and to support the community another way. And she took it beyond just simply sitting in here and talking about stuff. She would dive into things on the outside. She would meet with people. She'd get the information. She'd go to events like the Estacada Connects or Connect Now, whatever. Anyways, but she would do a lot more outside here, guys, and stuff. And so I just wanted to make sure she got a chance to get recognized and get let know I love you and you're awesome and you're beautiful and love your flowers. That's it.
Trying to embarrass me.
Thank you, Counselor.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Trust me.
Absolutely, American. Sure. Yes.
Let you on your meeting.
And Council Licky, you can get the camera going here.
All right. I just want to say this group is pretty important to me. Traffic and public safety, you guys got an important job. This town is growing fast. You've seen it. You pretty much are making the decisions that are going to make a big difference in how we get around here. So to me, that's pretty important stuff. Brandy Licky has been a good friend of mine for a while. And she jumped right in during the fires. And I mean, these guys have been above and beyond just being on the committee and being on the council. I mean, they've done amazing things in this city and they won't be forgotten. They're embedded. Everywhere you look, you'll see a piece of them. And we love them dearly. And I just want to recognize them for what they've accomplished and what they're a part of. This is history. This is everything that you hope you'll be a part of as you go through life and you look back someday and you say, I was a part of that. I helped with that. I helped with that park, or I helped with that road, or whatever it is you did. And that should be something you never forget, because it's pretty important stuff. And we're all proud of you. And I'm especially going to miss the both of you. And Brandy's little smiling face and her beautiful little daughter, who has been a great addition to this city, is going to be sorely missed. So I just like to award you with a trophy for your unwavering work on keeping our city in a good standing. So I picked this up for you. It won't be too
Oh, I
much.
have to stand up. Okay. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna crop me out of that.
Shit.
Can I put it right-
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Aw. Thank you. That was beautiful.
All right, excellent. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Counselor. Does anyone else in the community wish to speak? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda for June 27, 2023 minutes?
Make a motion.
Casey, I have a motion. I have a second. John, I have a second. All in favor, say aye.
I
Okay, motion passes. Thank you. Moving on to presentations and reports. Chief Mendoza won't be here this evening. Counselor McElroy, do you have anything, sir? Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I'm gonna be stepping back in, baseball season is officially over and Joel is leaving with Brandy both. And so I'll be stepping back in as a liaison for the Traffic and Public Safety Committee. I apologize, I couldn't be there in person today. Had a pretty straightforward meeting last night. City Council, many of you were there, voted on some items that have impacted the billing for waste disposal and looking at some options for yard debris collection. And then got to listen to Joel say goodbye as well. So a few public comments. I got a little bit excited, but other than that, nothing major happening last night.
Excellent. Thank you, Counselor. All right, okay, because Chief's not here, we'll move on to committee business. All right, first is National Night Out. We have a few volunteers that are going to help set up for us and tear down. And we got some food vendors. And do we have any RSVPs? Heath?
We've got a lot of RSVPs.
All right, here we go.
I made up a little. chart.
Oh.
Here we go,
Above and beyond. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
Wow.
In color.
in color.
Look at you.
I got an extra, anybody? So in the blue section.
This is awesome.
that
Wow.
is-
Yeah.
that was RSVP. So I made overlaid over the map of the
Great.
parking lot just to see what we could hopefully fit. Elena and I walked it the other day to make sure and measured it out. Estimating booth sizes, we should be able to get about 17 in there, hopefully.
Cool.
13 of which are claimed at this point. So I think that may be all the ones that we get. So we can space them out a little bit more. We talked about the Clackamas County Sheriff's having that whole little drive right there.
Mhm.
Fire department will just be in their driveway, so they'll set up there. We've got a lot of interest, so it was great to see all the responses that we got. So one
Excellent.
question I did have for the committee is, do we want to have any sort of representation, a booth or just a presence? We didn't really discuss that.
What did you do last year, Melanie? Did you have a committee or a city table for National Night Out?
We did have a city table and we just had information there on a variety of things that was going on. So it was kind of general information, but we did take the opportunity to try to talk to some people. Yeah. So if you guys want to have a table, or just if you want to
What does
Yeah.
everyone think?
be the hostess with
Yes.
the mostess.
Everyone, yes?
Yeah, I
Go
think
ahead.
it would be great because we have some of those awesome stickers and things
Mhm.
coming, so it'd be great to be able to hand that out.
You could use it as an information booth for the event too, if people
Yeah.
wanted to
Right.
get.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
cool.
And can I send you, I think it's the Neighborhood Watch that Officer McClurg or Deputy McClurg sent me for having, so we can have neighborhood watches in the community.
Oh,
We
yeah,
could
to
have that.
to have some more printouts of that.
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead and email that in.
Okay.
And then if you also could let me or Dawn, it sounds like you can email Dawn directly, DeRozier, our Public Works Director, or send it to me. How many cones and barricades do you need? Because I think probably Heath, you and Elena talked about that, how to kind of control access to the parking lot so people don't park there
Yep.
During, yeah. Maybe even put up some signs saying, please no parking on the evening of such and
Monday
such.
night.
Yeah,
Okay.
Monday after two
Oh,
PM or
after,
something, yeah.
okay.
So if you could let us know how many cones and barricades, and then I've not been tracking your budget, but I wondered if you might want to offer, like have little vouchers. Did you say food carts are gonna be there? One, two of them? If
Two.
you want to offer, and if they're willing to do this, do you want to offer a voucher to any first responders who show up? That could be a lot of firemen, actually. I have no idea. But any of the Clackamas County sheriffs or other,
Okay.
first responders, you could, if just some for you to discuss, idea to throw out there.
What does everyone think?
I love
Yes.
that idea.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
if they show up, that you can give them a voucher, they can go get something from a food cart, and then the food carts could turn those into you at the end of the, you'd have to arrange it with the food carts, and then we could write a check for that.
Okay.
That's a cool idea.
That's a great idea.
Just to show some appreciation and
Yes.
say, hey, maybe they'll come here instead of Happy Valley next year.
Yeah, I like that. Free
Definitely.
food.
That's a good idea. Does anyone else have anything else? Go ahead.
Sorry. I just had a quick thing. Next year, when this is done, I think it'd be really important to make sure that there's a little bit more time to plan it. Because I did get approached about, a certain food cart feeling really left out, and I think they've dealt with a lot of stuff lately. And I just think it'd be great to make sure everybody, every business, every food cart, every buddy in our city felt welcome to be a part of it. I know we've put this together pretty quick and did everything we could, but that's just something to note for future.
Definitely. Anyone else about National Night Out?
Oh, also, this is great.
Yeah, just to follow up a couple of these booths, like Estacada Community Center, they want to have their new van parked next to their booth.
Nice.
And they wanted to do some popcorn, so we're stationing them right where there's power outlet right there in that corner.
Okay.
And then Ant Farm, they want to sell some of the cookies that they make, which I figured would be okay. We have a couple food vendors there. We did have some other interest from the community of what appeared to be potential, like people wanted to sell crafts and trinkets and stuff, which was not what we were going for. So we didn't do that, but I figured it'd be okay for the Ant Farm to do the cookies that they do. And they're also talking about doing balloons for kids. And then Jim, you and I talked about the scouts. We thought about doing like a little punch card or sticker card or something where they could come to the scout booth. We could send them around so the families would go to the different booths, come back to the scouts afterwards and get like a little candy prize or something small.
Awesome. That's good.
So we're still putting that together.
Hey, Jim.
Go ahead, Casey.
I know the fire department's gonna have a presence there, but I think it would be helpful if they had their own booth where they could have it staffed with just one or two firefighters there to give out information since we're in wildfire season. Giving some information about, just it's a public safety issue. I mean, and that's what we do. Maybe have them come over and hand out stuff, and maybe even the power company, because I understand a lot of the times it's the power company lines that are starting some of these fires. Maybe so
Right.
we reach out to them and say, hey, we've got a few booth space available. Maybe they come out and hand out some stuff about people trimming their shrubs away from the lines. Just we're trying to do public safety stuff. I think that's one of the biggest things that we have an issue with is the wildfire issue. So I think we need to get those two entities involved in this if it's not too late.
I know. Yeah, PG usually likes to attend these things. I can get you their contact information.
Yeah, I think if we get them a booth, instead of just letting them sit in the parking lot, I mean, let's have an official stand for them where they could actually give out information. I think that'd be a
Okay.
wise move.
Okay. Thank you.
Sounds good to me.
All right. All right. So we're good on that National Night Out next Tuesday. Hopefully
What-
all of us will be there or can be there
Tuesday?
next Tuesday.
The
Fire-
first,
It's the first.
The
Yeah.
first. Yeah, 5 to 8 PM.
What time again? What, 5 to 8, but what time do we need like set up, tear down?
Well, I think I told the food carts 3 o'clock just to give them some extra time, but I think the rest of us 4 o'clock.
Okay,
Yeah, that's good to give us enough time to set all that up. All right. Okay, moving on, the second item on the committee business, the homeless discussion. I don't know if John, you wanted to take that and talk about that. Got that information to you
Yeah,
via Elena?
I read through the whole packet and thank you for sending that out. It was a mixture of a lot of frustration as well as a lot of interest in the way different communities were approaching the homeless issue. Where I'm coming from is I don't want it to be anything like Portland in any way, shape, or form. This is such a beautiful community, and it's frustrating to realize that we're being hindered or hampered in putting the protections in place, whatever those may be, from places and people outside of our community. That being said, we need to do something. And in reading the information that they sent out, you can put very specific details in an ordinance or whatever it ends up being called. You can put things like you can't park and live in an RV on a residential street, or there's all sorts of variables with that sort of thing, but you can put that stuff in. The big caveat is that in all of these different communities, if there's no place for that homeless person to go, like a shelter or something like that, then you can't enforce it. It doesn't mean you can't have that in place. And so, the other confounding factor is there's multiple cases on their way to the Supreme Court. So some like the Johnson one, that could, with one decision, it could be rescinded, depending on whether the state would honor that or not, which is another open question. It seemed to see a lot of that where some case gets overthrown. So some particular behavior or something is no longer constitutional, and yet these laws remain in place. And so that's another discussion at another time. But what I would be very interested in seeing is developing some specific components to an ordinance that we have, such as where people can camp, where they can park and live in their RVs. What's the status of, there's lots of interesting phrases about public property, including right of way and that sort of thing, that are meant for the public to use, and preserving that. There's a lot you can do with that. Also identifying certain places in our city that and certain towns have done this, where you can't do anything here. And, so they made, like, I think Spokane did their city hall. And so looking for those sorts of places that we can put in as well. And you can do things like have fines, and you can have monetary consequences as well. But I would really be interested to get something in place so that and there's that severability component as well, that if something is shown to be unconstitutional or something we can't do, you can just pull it out and it doesn't affect the rest of the ordinance. But so any kind of specifics that we can come up with, that then we can then offer to the city council, and the sooner the better. I would be very interested in doing that. And if we need to set up some kind of subcommittee or something like that, then by all means, I'm all for,
Okay.
and would be willing to participate in something like that. I thought I read somewhere because we did get a list of all the different homeless shelters and that sort of thing that are available. But I thought I read somewhere that none of those are available to us. I did see somewhere in this stuff where a city can contract and for a certain number of beds of that sort of thing. So there's lots of different options. And I would be interested in putting those all together as quickly as we can so that we can offer something to the city council. Not by their, because they meet like twice a month, but sooner rather than later.
Are you able to, excuse me, craft something into looking at probably our health and safety codes? And
Sure.
as a ordinance of what you want, and then you can send to Melanie or Elena,
Okay,
and they can send to the rest of the committee,
okay,
and we can at least see it before August 22nd.
okay, yeah.
Next meeting, or
Yeah, I'll probably multiple parts then. I'll use the Spokane one as
Right.
a base. I
Right.
won't throw in all the extra. Yeah,
I just wanted to say that we had an ordinance that we had put together. The council chose not to adopt it and felt that that wasn't quite what we needed, but it had a lot of good pieces to it. And
Sure.
so I don't know if you had taken a look at that, but I could send that out and that could give you a starting point and you could say, okay, this is good, this is not clear enough, or, it might give you something to start with like the Spokane one did. And
yeah, no, I'm definitely don't want to reinvent the wheel. I
Uh-huh.
also, I did read all of the, what I could get out of the minutes. I didn't watch the meeting, but it was interesting to see that didn't pass. I'm sure there were reasons for it that I just don't know. And that's neither here nor there now.
Right.
Can I ask a quick question? Melanie, how many phone calls does city get in a given month from the businesses and the homeowners in Estacada complaining about homelessness? On average, is it a,
yeah,
and who calls more? Is it the business during the daytime, or is this filtering into the neighborhoods at night where they're complaining? Or is that balanced? Just so we have an idea how.
I don't know that I've gotten any that I can say that we get on a certain, a regular time frame.
I know they're supposed to call the sheriff's office, but a lot of
Right.
people will call the city first, and I was just curious.
Yeah,
how
okay, I'd have to
it's
think
called.
about it, but right off the top of my head, I can't think of that. We don't get, what we do is if people are acting strange, if they're having if they're hauling a bunch of stuff around, or if they're having kind of some obvious mental issues in public, we do get calls about that. That's usually during the day and it's usually in the downtown area, but I don't know what the police get calls on.
Yeah, right,
I
right.
can ask code enforcement too, because.
Because they would contact code, yeah.
Yeah.
No, good idea. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
John, did you have anything left before the?
Do you mind?
Go ahead.
So there's a saying, it's a good pasture gives fat sheep. And it's from Shakespeare. And how I apply that to this is, communities that have that are very benevolent and have lots and lots of resources, get lots and lots of whatever they're giving resources to. And so, we do know through news reports that Portland is a homeless destination because of the resources. And so frankly, I'm interested in whether or not we can enforce it based on the current legal situation, having an ordinance in place with regulations in place that makes it clear that we're not a good pasture for that sort of thing. If you've got people moving up this way to find the money and the housing and all that kind of stuff, that's their decision, but it doesn't have to be here. And so having ordinances in place to show that we take that situation very seriously and want to keep our community as beautiful and peaceful and pristine as it is. I think that would help. It seems like you're going to always have, local issues or local people that are in need. And then that, of course, is, as a community, our responsibility to take care of them. But I also think that having rules and regulations in place to discourage people outside of the community to come in here. I'm all for that, and I'll be writing those kinds of things in the thing that I hand in on the 22nd.
Or
Note to self.
before that, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Jeff. Go ahead, Randy.
I just wanted to make a note, I think it was made pretty clear at the council meeting why it was turned down. I think that the community wholeheartedly agrees that, when our local problems, we take care of our people here. And the problem that the community saw was opening this up to a flood of people coming in. And so I just encourage you guys to, what was it? Spokane Valley one is super interesting to me. I would encourage you to just keep that in mind and remember the community and what they said and how they felt, because that's the most important thing, is making sure the community is heard and they don't feel like, you know, they feel like they're being heard and they're taking into account. Clearly, we're just an advisory committee, right? So you would advise the council. But their vote that night was very, in my mind, it was very nice to see them listen to the community, whether they personally felt that way or not. They listened to what the community had said and said, you know what, we're willing to work on this and go back to the drawing board and find something that works for Estacada. So I think it's great that you all are talking about this, and just keep that in mind. Oh.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. Does anyone else have anything on the homeless discussion? Anyone? Okay, moving on to the next piece of business, the Main Street update. I think everyone got this in the packet from Karin McLeod, which was the updated timeline starting September of this year, all the way up to project closeout October, November 2024. Wow. Long ways away. The trenching for PG&E starting in May of 2024. So. Anyone have any questions about
I
that?
have a question.
Go ahead, Gary.
Main Street update. Is the street going to be on the final drawing as it was presented and voted on? Is it going to be the same drawing? The people have asked me that question.
Oh, yes, yes, absolutely. That's what the engineering is designing to,
Okay,
how it was approved by the council
okay,
in that drawing.
okay. Just a question.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
John, go
I had
ahead.
a question, reading through the memo, and there was just a line and I didn't know what it was. It was actually the last page of the budget, and it was item J, private residence utility conversions, and it looks like there's 10 of them. So is that what is that? Is that like private homes getting? I wasn't sure what that was.
Do you want me to? Did you want to speak, Jim, or do you want me to?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I was just looking at it right now.
So when we, and the same thing took place on Broadway when we undergrounded the power. When you underground the power, I think a lot of places have undergrounded power already on Main, but there's a handful of them. They estimated 10. I haven't gone out there and counted them, that they're receiving power overhead. And if we underground the power, then you have to underground it to the building. And because it's a city project, we tried to cover that in the cost of the project rather than imposing that extra cost on each property owner as you go. So that's why it's included. There's some that may not be able to, it may still have to go overhead, because we may not, in the very old buildings that are there, might not want to mess with their electrical at all. But if there are ones that can be hooked up underground, we would go ahead and do that. And that way it wouldn't be a burden to the property owner through the city's project. Does that answer your question?
Well, frankly, it's what I figured, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, so I
Yeah.
thought I'd ask.
And I haven't gone,
10 grand a house, wow.
I know. And that might be an overestimate, but whenever I estimate things, they end up being twice as much. So I think they tried to be, and I actually don't know if there's 10. But you could tell as you walk up and down the street, which ones are overhead and which ones are already underground.
Quick question.
Go ahead, Counselor.
Melanie, what do they do in that instance when the power can't be undergrounded? They're gonna leave a pole?
I'm not sure exactly, but I was concerned about a couple of buildings that I didn't think we wanted to work on, and I think that I don't know how they do that, but somehow they have a plan to where they could, I don't know. Sorry, Elena's not here. She was in on that conversation. There is a different way to just leave it continuing overhead and not having to get into their electrical box, their panel or whatever that's in the building, and to leave it as it is. If we do go ahead and do the undergrounding. Sorry, I can get a better answer than that, but I don't know how they do it, but I know they can.
Yeah, I'm just curious if they're gonna underground it from the street to a pole on the property and then continue to service up from there. Or if that means that they're not undergrounding it to a property, that they're gonna leave poles on the street.
Yeah, and
It wouldn't do you much good to spend all that money undergrounding all of those utilities and then have weak points where they could be damaged above ground.
yes. And underground to a pole. Oh, Joel is speaking. If they run it underground to a pole on the property, then it could go over ground. But we'll have to, when the engineers come and talk to the city council or the urban renewal board about that, they can probably explain that in better detail, but I know there was an option to do that. Preferably, we'd like to get everything undergrounded, if that's the choice of the council to go ahead and go with the undergrounding. But some places it might not be feasible to do that.
Thank you.
It'd be nice to know which places are of concern that you're thinking we won't be able to.
I'm thinking of the McCrae's Motel. That block of buildings there is they're pretty historic, old. And I don't know, I'm guessing what the situation is in those buildings is not how we would do things these days. And so just to have an abundance of caution and not mess up what they've got going on. That's my concern, is to rewire anything in those buildings that are that old and not haven't been updated and brought up to more recent standards. So those are the ones I'm thinking of, Mike.
Understood. I
Okay.
didn't realize that when they were doing those upgrades that they would do anything more than changing the service to the meter, is the way I understood it, that they would just bring it from stubbing from up above, dropping down into the meter rather than just coming up from the bottom end of the meter. I didn't realize it impacted the wiring inside the building.
And I could be mistaken on that, on how much it impacts it, but we'll get more information for you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Brandy?
I just had a quick question. I've had this question several times by people in the community. The reason for the delay, was it simply because of the 4th of July parade, or was there another reason for that delay?
As our engineers like to say, the critical path forward is through PGE to underground the power. And although we have been talking with them since fall of last year, or the engineers have, their rate of accomplishment and all the stuff that they have to do has been very slow. And so, and I know everybody's overwhelmed with everything that's going. I know a lot, if you're working in construction, there's a lot going on, and PGE has a lot going on, but it has taken a long time to get to a final design with them, to get even an initial design. Because our engineer thought we could go out to bid with an initial design and then do a change order to tweak it a little bit. And I should have known, because those are huge feeder lines, I guess that's what you call them, versus what was on Broadway. Broadway was expensive in my mind at the time, but was nothing like these lines that go up and feed all of uptown. So it's a much larger scale project to underground them, and that's really what's holding us up. And then we did Broadway starting, I think they broke ground in February, March, April, and halfway through May, I think we were open before Memorial Day, and they were done with it, of that whole thing. And so I'm thinking, that's massive. This is pretty simple project in comparison should be a couple months. And that, looking at the timeline, that is not what's happening, but a lot of that has to do with PGE and the work that they have to do. So we will, at least that's my understanding at this point. We'll be having an urban renewal meeting with the engineers and go over more details. And then decide if we still want to do that full project or if there's changes they want to make.
Okay.
But the design of the street will remain the same as it was approved.
I just know like, personally, I've been reached out to by a lot of people who felt like they're concerned that the delay may be for other reasons. And so I just wanted to know what that was. So thank you.
Yeah, it's not to throw it all on PGE, but they have a huge part of the project that has been a little bit slow.
Okay, so we're all good on Main Street, everyone? Good? All right. Okay, moving forward, Brian, are you able to put that video up for the school crossings?
Yeah,
Do you happen to have that?
nobody told me about a video.
Okay, Elena said the video was up in the school crossings when I sent the video to her.
To Elena?
Mhm.
I do not know if did you copy me or just send it to her? I'm
I can look.
significantly behind in my email. Here, I can search for you.
Yeah, I just have a packet from Elena.
I do not have it. Do you still have it? Like, could you email it over?
Second.
It wouldn't do any good because it wouldn't put it on that computer. Do you have?
That's what she said. I had it, I sent it from my, that's what she said.
Okay. Let's see if it's-
What did she say it was under?
Let me look.
School.
Usually it would just be on the home screen. Usually we have to put a flash drive in and copy it over. That's not good.
Yeah, that was
Text her. Did you get a video?
Jim, was it off of a jump drive or was it a link off of like a YouTube video?
No, it was something that Carrie and I had went to a school in Clackamas County.
Yeah.
And we shot a video so we could ultimately show the city council what our plans or what we want to see here in Estacada in regards to the school crossings with all the bells and whistles.
This looks like a video.
There it is.
Here we go.
Hey.
Said it.
That's cool.
Let me tell
It
you,
was on
never-
here, sorry.
Never mind.
Okay.
Never doubt Elena. She will get it done.
All right, you guys.
All right, Carrie.
Oh,
Down.
so- Mr. Dobbs will explain a little bit here.
This is
Okay
Merrillhurst.
for me to watch it with you guys?
Yeah. And punch it.
I just wonder if you could turn the camera to look at like the podium so I can see the screen would be great.
Oh, we can do that.
Oh, thank you.
There you go.
You want me to play as you're talking or just?
Sure, go ahead. This is an example of the flashing lights that come. This is crossing. They have two buildings, one on each side of the road here, Clackamas Drive there, running along the river. People roll through there probably 35, 40 miles an hour. You come up signs before on both north, east and southbound there. And this is kind of the flashing thing that happens. They're solar powered. It's There should be another part.
Is
linked
there
there.
in a different video? Sorry, Carrie,
Yeah. This is,
because I think I might have sent two.
yeah, there's another video there that actually shows the, on each side of the street.
Oh, okay. There was just one video.
There we go. That's it, right
Okay.
there.
There's a better view there.
Okay, so there was a video of, well,
Yeah,
it's
there's
coming.
pictures in.
Okay.
Did it hit?
Yeah, maybe only one got sent.
Okay, just hang on to that for a second. On each side, they really light up good, and it's kind of a tree overcast area even when the sun's shining. But boy, I tell you, it's when you come approaching, you see from both directions the intensity of the lights, and it works. There was another video we had there showing I walked across with one of the teachers there, and it's so effective. And yet at the same time, traffic flows through there. People slow down because it is a school zone. But boy, when those babies light up, you get the picture. And that's kind of a thing that we're talking about up on Sixth and Broadway, big gyms area, up there, Granny's. My wife and I have watched the kids. Everybody knows you come out of Main Street and you're heading west and you start to accelerate. Everybody hits the Shell corner and they're moving. And kids run in front of those, they're kids. We're all kids, at one time we want to beat the dump truck, And but this thing is not going to, in looking at the system, it's not going to stop the artery from slowing down for any there until there's elderly or kids. And they push that button and now they have safety for crossing. And that's kind of what we're trying to press into. It's a school zone there. And, the comments have been made that, hey, elderly people are in that zone too. So, we're traffic safety and public safety. So it's a thing that works. We don't have to run underground power for solar stuff. And, I understand it has to have a budget tied to it. But that would be discussed on, what that would entail for money spending. But I think this stuff is pretty doable and it works. So sorry we didn't get the video of it in action.
Go ahead, Brandy.
I think that's those would be great for those areas we pointed out, like, what were those, like Sixth and Main and Sixth and Broadway and those other areas? I think that's
Could
awesome.
we also look at,
10th and Broadway too.
could we also look at maybe having a few of those? No, I'm not saying every one because I know it would be expensive. But when they put those signs on them that says speed limits 20 or 25, your speed is with the radar hitting them, because when they put that thing on Cemetery Road, there, and I'm fairly new to the city, so took me a while to remember that's 25 coming out of my home, my housing addition. But I also come out and I'm on a downhill.
Yep.
And before I know it, I'm 35, and it's not till you get to the bottom of the hill where you see it's 25. Well, by then it's I could have been going a lot slower the whole time, but when they put those things up and I'd see them as soon as I made my turn, I'd remember, okay, boom, slow down. I think, not saying do it on every one, but can we at least look at adding that to one or two of these signs? I really think that's even more
The
effective.
crossings.
Yeah. Yeah, just to remind people,
Yeah,
hey,
mechanically, the
20, you're-
solar
you're doing this.
disaster, everything, the press on solar and they work. And you're not having to run electricity. You don't have to dig up the, whatever.
Right.
And they're efficient and they get your attention.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
It's awesome.
And I just wanted to bring up, Melanie, if we could, with that other video, could we put that video up on our Facebook along with the photographs showing that this is something that we'd like to do as a committee? And also what we discussed last night, the members of the community, bringing up the lack of street signs that Public Works Director solved, the North Broadway, Northeast Fifth, Northeast Sixth, North Broadway, Northeast Main, Northeast First, in Northeast Main and Northeast Second Avenue. So all those have brand new signs on them.
Yep, good idea.
Okay, I think I just have one other thing before we get to everything else. I noticed that we did have a vacancy on our Facebook page as a committee member. I was wondering if you could add Heath Sedgberg to that vacant spot.
Yes.
He hasn't been added
yes,
yet.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So add Heath and
Mhm.
then you'll have an opening for Brandy's spot too. So, okay.
You're leaving?
No, it's just Joel.
He's going without me.
All right, excellent. So let's move on. If anyone doesn't have anything else to committee reports and comments. I'll let John, start with John.
Yeah, I've got three things. First, remember during the Riverside fire, we were able to, up to the minute, updates on what was going on and, particularly the evacuations up in my court up there. It was like every guy in the court was out there. As soon as about noon, when it clicked over to time to go, we were all sitting out there and good luck, and off we went. And then since then, my wife's got this app on her phone that she sees every wildfire in the Northern Hemisphere. It's really, she's really concerned about that sort of stuff. So, we got the alert on our phones when it's almost like an Amber Alert, it breaks into everything. We got that big alert on the phone regarding the wildfire up the road there. And then
What's the name of that app?
I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't.
That's all right.
I think it's ODF, isn't it?
I think you sign up at Clackamas County and I could put that on your Facebook page because people need, sometimes they just encompass the area and everybody gets it. But sometimes you need to sign up for it. So we
Okay.
can put
Is
that
that-
on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the one I
watch
use.
Oh, is that it? Okay.
Watch duty.
Yeah.
Duty.
Okay.
And so it was something of a contrast, though, this recent fire in how it was updated.
Mhm.
It started out at about 20 acres. Next thing, it's at 40.
Mhm.
It didn't see anything in the sky or anything like that, but wasn't getting updates. I mean, there was like one update a day or something like that late, if that. And it wasn't concerned because it looked like it was under control, but it was just such a stark contrast to what we were getting before. And then even subscribed to the Estacada News and it was the same thing. As soon as they rescinded the evacuation level 1, there was nothing.
Mhm.
After that, it was silent, and then I can't remember how I found out, but they were still doing mop up and that kind of thing. So just to comment on that, it would have been nice to have more timely or more consistent updates regarding the wildfire up there. The second comment is that homeless ordinance that the council voted on that you were talking about. Is the actual ordinance is that in the minutes? So I can just find it in there?
It's in the packet, but I'll email it to you. I'll
Okay.
email it to you so it's easy
Okay.
for you to have.
Thank you. And then finally, I didn't know you guys were leaving. And so I understand you're off to Arkansas. I've been to Arkansas. It's a beautiful state up in the Ozarks. And I just wanted to say that, it's a great loss for Estacada, but a great gain for wherever you guys are going because of the passion and the depth of knowledge and just you've been such a conduit to the rest of the community, and it's really going to be missed. So sorry to see you go, and best of luck.
Thank you.
Excellent. All right. Gary. What do you have? Any closing comments or?
A closing comment. I want to thank everybody. I mean, this is really good. Once again, I think the number one thing is the voice of the people. And I like it when the public comes in and says something,
Mhm.
because that's what we're supposed to carry, the voice of the people. And I know there's development, the community is growing, it's going to grow. But once again, people moved here for one reason, and that was to get out of what was behind them. And if we can keep that sovereign and keep the word rural, it's a good thing. And that's why people live here. It's a community. Community means common unity. And when you break that up, you get an influx of something which produces another way of life. Just facts. People live here because they left a different environment, and their voice counts. And that voice is going to be heard in this room. And it's coming on strong. And it's not going to stop. So I just want to say that because growth is important. Communities, schools, elderly, everything. It's a value. It's not a commodity. It's a value. And I think we all want to hold a value because people are more important than things. You can get things all your life, but at the end of the show, it's based on relationship and people. I make these statements because we've seen things go wrong. And the only way to fix something wrong is to do what's right. And the voice of the people will stand for what's right. And I say that because we all have a voice. No voice should be ignored. A closing statement is I just appreciate everybody because everybody has a flavor and that flavor should be valued. That's why I'm sitting here. I want the flavors to come into this room. That's what I see. That's what I see the future of Estacada is people. It's people. Thank everybody. It's an honor to sit here. It really is.
Awesome. Thank you, Kerry. Casey.
I'll just make mine real quick. Brandy and Joel, it's been a pleasure getting to know you guys. I haven't had that long of an opportunity, but it's been nice to see how special you are to this community. I've witnessed it myself, and yes, you guys are going to be sorely missed. And I'm pretty sure where are you going to in Arkansas, if you don't mind me asking, what area? Okay, well, I'm pretty sure they're going to end up with some new people on their council before too long, and yeah, good luck with that. I don't think you know how to do that, Joel.
Famous last words.
But again, it's been a pleasure to get to know you guys, and you've made my coming to Estacada a little bit easier with, you know, all the things that you guys do for the community and the knowledge that you bring. And so, yeah, you'll be missed. Thanks.
Thank you. Heath.
Two quick ones.
Go
So
ahead.
doing this national night out thing has been a good experience. Learning about some of the other community resources out there, but one of them in particular that I kind of forgot about was the CERT group. So we have an active CERT group here in Estacada. So they're planning on being there. I actually went to their most recent meeting after getting the email from them that they wanted to have a booth at our event, and they were talking about wildfires. They're up at somebody's house up on Springwater, specifically for that community and wildfires and what they would do and how they would help each other out. So it was a great meeting to be involved with, and I'm going to get involved with them and join the CERT. So it's been good to get another resource within the town for public safety and
Awesome.
emergency response. And then also a second or third or 50th, everything's been said about the two of you. So definitely going to be missed in the community. Thank you for everything you've done.
Excellent. All right, I'll go, then you go.
Okay,
Is that okay?
deal.
All right. Excellent. Well, I appreciate everyone showing up. I noticed the city councils or meetings will be getting pretty busy. I hope someday that we grow up and join the varsity and we can have about 30, 40, 50 people in here. That would be nice. But I think the traffic and public safety committees definitely going in the right direction. Everybody's well motivated and definitely love their community. It's which leads me to Brandy and Joel. You guys behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, whether it's city council, ECW, Joel and I and the mayor on a podcast. It's just, it's been quite a ride. And it's hitting the brakes temporarily, but we will get you to Arkansas safely. Promise. Okay, that's all I have, Brandy. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I didn't write it down because I didn't have time, to be honest. So it's gonna be a little scattered, so I apologize for that. This committee has really been incredible to serve on. All of you are very committed to this community, and it's really impressive. The amount of work you put in. Every single person on this committee has a heart for this community, and I'm so grateful to all of you. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to serve with. So there are a few things that I want to put out there since I'm leaving. You know, I have the right to do that, I guess. One, I'd like to encourage the city, and I mean city staff when I say this, to open your minds and hearts to everybody in the community. I've heard a lot in this last little bit, just during this serving on this committees particularly, about favoritism. And I don't know if that's real or if it's perceived favoritism, but there's some businesses in our town that feel really left out and feel like they're being targeted. And maybe just being open to talking to every business. And I know that there's a lot of people in this community that care about this community. And to hear that, it's disheartening to hear. I know we felt it from our service too. And it's hard when you serve the community all the time. You get weary and you get tired, and it's tough. But you know, I encourage you guys to really, really be open to everybody. There's some businesses in town that really do feel like they're left out of a lot of things. And I think there's some work to be done there. Another thing is, like I said, you guys are incredible to serve with. Keep pushing. All of you work so hard, and it's really awesome to see. Keep pushing for your voices to be heard. Keep pushing for people to come in here. It has been incredible to hear how many people in the community come to all of us and talk to us and trust us to get their voice out there. And that is really cool to see. And I think that's unique to our committee, to be honest. I think that this was a great idea, and I thank the council for bringing this committee together, because I think it's really important in a growing community. So now I'm on to my thank yous. Thank you, staff, for being here to support us and helping us, guide us through this new job that we've all signed up for, and encouraging us along the way. Thank you to every single one of you for always being open to listening to each other. And I don't think we've ever had anything heated in here. We've always been respectful. And I think that's really awesome to see, because sometimes we have differing opinions, but we're all here for the right reasons. And we're all here to give our advice to the council in the way we feel the community is asking us to do that. And that's really cool to see. It has been a very hard decision to leave. And I know it was fast. It wasn't meant to be that fast, but things happen. I think it's important to know the reasons. We're not running away from Estacada. Estacada will always be our home. We will be back very often. You'll probably get tired of seeing us. But we needed to protect our child. And so, sorry, I'm going to cry, but that was the most important thing for us. And sorry. I don't know if I can finish. So thank you. Thank you to the community for loving us so well. And thank you to the mayor for being the best person we know. And thank you to Mary Whitney, because she gets a lot of flack, but behind the scenes, she serves this community every day, and she takes a lot of heat for it. So I encourage everybody to get to know her, because she's a beautiful soul. And thank you. That's it. I'm done.
Thank you, Brandy.
Yep.
Godspeed. We'll get you there. All right. I will adjourn today's meeting and have some cake in the back.
Tried really hard. Sometimes, man.
Good.